Hey guys, how are you? It is Savory Sundays. I'm a little bit disoriented, so I do apologize. Still trying to get everything together, so bear with me. How's everyone doing today? Hey Beast Mode, how are you? Getting my drink, I'm thirsty. Making sure the chickens were taken care of because we have some rain coming in this week. So that was fun. We are going to be doing two things. Today is our son's birthday. We officially have a teenager. So I'm going to be working with my handy dandy crock pot today, and we're working with one of my new Instapots. It's a really cool Instapot. It's not a normal Instapot. It's not a pressure cook Instapot, but it does pretty much everything from slow cooking to roasting to you can actually bake in it. I'm good. Just I don't know where my brain's at today. So I feel weird. So yeah, in the crock pot, I know there's been a lovely debate on Facebook, on Discord about how to eat macaroni. I have a really cool, it's a really good creamy macaroni. And the only thing you have to do really is, of course, boil your noodles because you cannot have hard noodles. So once you get your noodles boiled, you're going to toss it in the crock pot with all the ingredients, and it basically cooks and bakes, and it's super yummy. So we're going to kind of get that process started, but we're going to prep everything for the creamy potato soup that we're also going to toss in the Instapot because we have our son's birthday party going on later this afternoon. So I kind of want to have some things ready to go for when people come over, or for when family comes over, they can have some things to eat. And I don't want to be cooking. So yes, and they're really good, really easy ingredients. So I have the water boiling for the macaroni that we need to get al dente. Al dente is where it's not completely cooked, but it's a little firm. That way when you're cooking it another way, it doesn't get mushy and just disintegrate, for those of you that don't know. But for the potato soup, you need to have your about 1.5 pounds of peeled potatoes, and you need to have an onion, and you need to have those chopped. Your onion needs to be diced, and your potatoes need to be chopped. Not diced, but yet not chopped into chunks. I already have my potatoes peeled. I'm going to work on my onions and my potatoes so we can get those kind of done and set aside, because once the process starts, you kind of need to keep it up. What I do love about the Instapot is you can do everything in it at once. You can saute, you can cook, then you can go to cooking over it. It's really nice. So I'm just kind of chopping up the potatoes. Remember, it's going to be in a soup. They will break down a little bit. So you don't want them too small, but you don't want them too big because you are going to be eating a soup. I will go over the ingredients for the soup fully here in a little bit. It's super easy. Even if you don't have an Instapot that I'm doing it in, you can do this stovetop in just a normal pan, or I'm sorry, in a normal pot. So don't think because you don't have an Instapot you can't make this soup. I'm just throwing it in the Instapot because it's all in one, which you can still do in a pot as well. But I want my Instapot so it stays warm, and I don't have to keep my oven or stovetop turned on. Heat my house up because I live in Texas. What's everyone doing today? Beast, what have you been up to today? So it's about the size of the potato that you want. Yes, so once it's done in the slow cooker, it's really cheesy, really gooey, and it's super good. I usually don't make it unless there's a special occasion or Thanksgiving. And since usually it takes all day, it's a slow cooker process, but since I'm on a time constraint, I'm not going to use all the block cheese I usually use. I'm going to kind of cheat, and I'm going to use shredded cheese so it cooks a little faster, and I'll tell you why. Oh, well, thanks. I appreciate it. Chopping and preparing. Hey, Groovy, I appreciate it. I always appreciate you popping in. Sorry you have to work. Working on a Saturday does not sound fun. Stop working. I'm running out of room. I will also show you a really cool, quick, lesson plans. Yeah, that's never fun. I'll show you a cool little trick that my stepmom showed me about dicing onions that, to this day, I do every time, because dicing onions can be time consuming and it sucks. And no one likes to dice onions. If you do, you are weird. I've got about 2 more potatoes left. Move on to the onions, and I'll check my water for the macaroni. The macaroni is super easy. It's just a box of elbow macaroni. You can actually spice it up and do different types of pasta if you want, but elbow macaroni is usually the best bet. You will need a little bit of milk, butter, Velveeta cheese, and then usually it's blocked cheese of mild cheddar, Colby Jack, and that's it. But like I said, I'm on a time constraint because usually it slow cooks throughout the day. But I have only just a couple of hours, so I'm going to cheat and use shredded cheese, which you can also do if you have a time constraint. Okay, so I have diced or chopped my potatoes. They're sitting on my counter. Of course, every time I cook, my counters have been disinfected and cleaned. So for those of you who have never cut an onion comes with this dry paper. Chop the top, small part of the top off, and you're going to be able to peel it back. Now, sometimes it's hard, so what I do is I go down the side just a little bit, and it allows you, like onions have layers, if you heard that, you can peel it even more. Just peel it off. Peel back that layer. It's like a skin, basically. So I'll show you down here. So what I do is I cut the other end to give me, so I have a flat end and a flat end. So I take the bigger end that I made, and basically I go down, right? And I make, always watch your finger when cutting with knives. Hey, babe. And I make a checkerboard, right? This is the easiest way I was taught to dice, not chop, to dice an onion. So now that we have our checkerboard, so you see it? See the checkerboard? Now you cut it sideways, and you can dice it this way. Once you run out of your little checkerboard, just do it again. Okay? So see, I'm starting to run out. I would just continue back on the lines that I made and go again. Yeah, my stepmom showed me. It's super easy. It's just for dicing onions. I wouldn't recommend for chopping. Chopping, you would slice it all the way through, and then you chop it how you want. But dicing, it cuts back a lot of time. So I'm going to check on the water for the macaroni really quick. Which is boiling. Dump your macaroni in. I use a whole box. I add a little salt. And then you're just going to give it a stir. And I always set my wooden spoon up. So we have our tomatoes. No, you don't want tomatoes in this. So we have our onions and our potatoes diced for this recipe. So what you're going to want to do, is you add bacon to this, but I don't have fresh bacon and I don't want to deal with that right now. I have bacon bits, which we'll add later. But you can substitute bacon for the bacon grease that you're going to need for butter, which I have. So what you're going to need is 3 tablespoons of butter. And we're going to be sauteing. So I'm going to get my Instapot. So this is my really cool new Instapot. It's huge. Hello, Jimmy. How is you? Hello, Team Serious. We're going to plug it in. So I'm going to be doing multiple things at once. Multi-cooking for the win. Clean my counter underneath the Instapot. We're waiting on the macaroni noodles to boil because we're going to be doing macaroni in the crock pot for our son's birthday. That's going to be happening with family. We want things from the snack on. And then I'm going to throw in some creamy potato soup in the Instapot that people can snack on and then we can have later on throughout the week as well. I'm doing all right. My brain is a little scattered today, so hoping I can keep it all together. We've already diced the onions and chopped up the potatoes for the creamy potato soup while we wait for everything else. Yes, birthday boy. He's out with his Nana right now. So we need to saute. I do need to get the milk out. Make sure you have your ingredients on hand. The macaroni is super easy to do. It's just macaroni. You need to have your noodles al dente, which means not fully cooked all the way through. They're a little stiff. That way, while they're cooking in the crock pot, they're not going to disintegrate and really become really mushy when they're done. So you need 3 tablespoons of butter. Now, all Instapot features have a saute feature on them, as far as I know, which is really cool. And we're going to be using that feature on this Instapot, which I love. So this Instapot is huge. My awesome husband got it for my birthday. It's fantastic. The only thing that it doesn't do is pressure cook, which is fine, but it actually bakes, it steams, it stews, it slow cooks, it's a rice multigrain, it does yogurt, it does sear and saute. It does everything except for pressure cook, which is fine. I have a pressure cooker Instapot, so I'm good. I'll do it. Whatever. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my saute on. I'm going to be able to do everything in this Instapot for this potato soup. You can still do it if you don't have an Instapot on the stovetop in a pot. So please don't think because you don't have this Instapot, you can't do it. I'm just doing it in this Instapot so it's all here on the counter, will stay warm. I don't have to keep my stove on and heat my house up. Usually you can start off. It's the Instapot Aurora, I think how you say it. It's huge. It's great. I'm still learning how to use it. But it is fantastic. Like I said, it does not pressure cook, which I assumed it did, but you can actually like bake bread in it. I have not tried that yet, but I'm going to be experimenting with that. Let me check the noodles. Got about another 2 minutes on those. Make sure you stir them and check them. You don't want them sticking to the bottom of the pan. So we've got it on saute. The butter is starting to melt. Once it melts, you're going to add your onion that we've diced. You're going to add your thyme, and then you're going to saute them just until the onions are soft and it all mixes together. Once that is done, you're going to add your flour, which at the end I will give you all the ingredient measurements. I don't want to go through it right now. OG, what's up? We're in the process of making creamy potato soup and then also macaroni in the crock pot. No ketchup. And we're going to saute all of that. And then we're going to add all the rest of the ingredients, and I will go through all that in the process. It's going to be kind of a quick process with a few minutes in between. And at the same time, the macaroni goes pretty quick in the crock pot, and then you set it and forget it. I'll let you know I am cheating on that because usually it's an all-day process in the crock pot. You use blocked cheese. I'm using shredded cheese because we are in a time constraint because of party. Hey, Phantom Wolf, nice to see you here. OG, nice to see you. The butter is melting. I'm going to get the noodles off. I want to see if you guys have seen this trick as well, because this is also new for me. So, how old were you, strainer? Put it in the pot and then strain when you guys found that out. Because that was new to me too. So you've got your noodles in the pot. I'm going to let them cool right there for a minute while we work over here for a minute. Today, yeah, same. I figured that out just a little bit ago. So your noodles can be hot, but they will melt your butter that you're going to put in there and your cheese. So you kind of want to let them cool. You can run them under cold water if you're in a really tight pinch. Since we're in the middle of sauteing, the butter is still melting. So we'll let that go. The rest of your butter, usually it's a stick to 3/4 of a stick of butter. If you want more and you want it a little more creamy, it's really up to you. Go ahead and slice it into thin slices. Cooking is never like a perfect science in my kitchen, so don't freak out because you're going to disperse it throughout layers. Your macaroni is going to have layers, just FYI. Yeah. Usually I have like a ton more coffee than this. I'm surprised I haven't had more coffee. Okay, so when we throw this in, you want your first layer. Okay, we have our Velveeta cheese too for the macaroni. While we wait for the butter and stuff to melt, we've got our Velveeta cheese. You need to open it up, and you also need to slice it. And to slice it and cube it. Yes, I'm multitasking in the kitchen. I'm probably making it hard for you guys to figure out and keep up what I'm doing, but this is normally what I do. I'm cooking multiple things at once. Okay, so for the first couple layers, I've got three slices, and I usually just stack them on top of each other, and then just do. It's not an exact science. They don't have to be pretty. Remember, you're throwing it in a crock pot with some noodles and butter and milk. Those are your main three ingredients. Cheese, milk, butter, and noodles, of course. You can't have macaroni without noodles. Okay, so our butter has melted. Yay! We've already diced our onions. We had that done while we're waiting. So we're going to toss the onions in. They're going to cook about 8 minutes. Yeah, babe. You know what? I'm making food. So go play for a little bit. And then it's 1/8 of a teaspoon of thyme, but I'm just going to do a pinch or a dash as you see fit.
What are you making, Mom?
Soup and macaroni.
Oh,
Mix it around. Make sure you don't let it sit to burn. So every once in a while, give it a good stir. It's going to be about 5 minutes to get those nice, good, and sauteed in there. And then you're going to be adding your flour. So we have a few minutes to get some layers in for the macaroni. The macaroni does not take very long, I promise. But since I don't have time to make sure all of the blocked cheese will be melted. You need to back up. No, that's not yours. Sorry, kids. We're going to be doing shredded cheese. So normally we do block cheese and it cooks all day, but today we have a little bit of a time constraint, so we're just going to do shredded cheese so it melts faster. So you're going to add some bits of your butter at the bottom before you add any noodles or anything. And then you're going to add a couple of your cubes of Velveeta. And then you're going to add a little bit of your, so I have cheddar and Monterey, or Colby Jack, I'm sorry. And usually you get the same thing in blocked cheese and you have those dice. Realistic, hey babe, how you doing? Welcome. You're gonna sprinkle that at the bottom, and if you do it in cubes and cook it all day, it's just gonna be a few of those. Then you're gonna have your noodles, and you're gonna layer those. Get out of the kitchen, dog. It's okay if you see the cheese and the butter sticking through. It's perfectly fine. Make sure you're still stirring. You're doing it at the same time like I am. I'm keeping up with my onions. So I can probably get another layer in while the onions are still cooking. Cappuccino baby, how are you doing? We got some crock pot macaroni going. And we're in the process of making, I can't think, creamy potato soup. All right. So we'll get another layer in of the macaroni. I can probably do one more small layer. Actually, I probably will only get 2 layers. I only did 1 box because I didn't want to do too big of a box. Which is fine. All right, so our onions are pretty caramelized and cooked through. So now we need to add the flour to that. The noodles are perfectly fine. Don't stress about them if you're in the process of doing multiple things like I am, because that's just how I roll. So once they are done, you're gonna add your flour, and that's gonna give it the texture. And we need 1/4 cup flour. Georgia said no. So I'm just going to sprinkle that in. You're going to make sure you stir that. And it's going to clump, so don't freak out about it. Saute it for another minute. And then kind of once all the juice kind of clumps and goes away, you're going to add your chicken broth, which is 2 cups. Which where did my freaking canned chicken broth go? Okay. So I have my chicken broth. I'm going to go ahead and add that in. Mind you, everything is still sauteing. I still have it picked up. And if it's in a pot, it's going to be medium to high heat. All right, Groovy. Don't work too hard. Bye. Okay, so once it's all mixed really well, we're gonna basically add the rest of our stuff, which is 2 cups milk, your potatoes, and then if you did cook the bacon in the beginning, if you want fresh bacon, you can do that. But I have just bacon bits that we're gonna add in the end in case, you know, one of my kids or our kids are extra picky. So I've already pre-chopped the potatoes. I'm throwing those in. Then I'm gonna add the milk. You want to bring it back to a boil after that. Off my cutting board. 2 cups of milk. Measure and cup. Bring my 2 cups of milk. Appreciate it, Groovy. Of course, I'll show you what all this looks like here in just 1 second so you can see. 1 cup, 2 cup. I'm going to give this a good mix. I'll get most of the stuff out of my way too. You're going to want to bring this back to a boil. Of course, you have to let your potatoes cook through. This is a total cook time of 35 minutes, so don't think this, if you have a short amount of time, you're not going to be able to make this. It's pretty simple, especially if you get all your ingredients out and in front of you. It's pretty easy. Where is my towel? Okay, so while that kind of comes back to a boil, we can come back to making the macaroni. So you're going to need about half a cup of milk to finish this off. You're also going to want to finish off the rest of your butter. You're going to want it on top when you have your last layer. So I was only able to do 2, which is perfectly fine. So you're going to want to throw that last layer on, and then you're going to want to top it off with a little bit of cheese as well, because you want it to kind of gooey up. And you're not going to stir this or touch this until you're ready to eat it as well. It's going to cook and melt and become gooey. So I'm going to top this with the cheese. Like I said, normally this is made with all blocked cheese, cheddar cheese, Colby Jack cheese, and of course always Velveeta. And then the butter. Let me wash my hands really quick. And then it cooks throughout the day. Since like I said, I am in a kind of a time constraint, I've done it with shredded cheese, which works just fine. So I have my half cup of milk, and then you're just going to kind of dump it over. And of course, it's going to go to the bottom. If you feel like you want it just a little bit more creamier, you can always feel like you can add more. I might add a splash just because I want it a little bit more creamier. You're going to cook it on low if you're in the crock pot. I have not cooked this on stovetop. I have not cooked it in the oven, so crock pot is necessary. You're going to want to turn it on, of course, plug it in and put it on low. Keep the lid on, but do not seal the lid. And once it's going, it's good to go. You're done. Right before you're ready to serve to everyone else, just stir it, give it a good mix, and it's done. So let me get all of this out of the way. And we will finish up with the potato soup. Does anyone have any questions about the macaroni or so far what we've done on the potato soup? The potato soup should be only take 25 total cook minutes. So it should be done in about 15 minutes. especially with the Instapot and on stovetop. So don't feel like if just because I'm making it in the Instapot, it'll be cooked differently or cooked faster. So if you're doing the stovetop, it's exactly the same cook time. I don't think there'll be any left by the time you get here, so sorry. So we're waiting for it to come to a boil. It needs to stay at a boil. Make sure you're mixing it. Doing my ninja skills apparently. Putting my ninja cheese away. Usually when I do this during Thanksgiving, I fill a crock pot and I use an entire block of Velveeta, cheddar, and Colby Jack, and put an entire cup and a half of milk, and use a stick and a half of butter, but just because of the amount of macaroni that I make. And I usually don't have leftovers, so there's that too. Okay, so I can show you guys what we're doing here now that I've got some space. So the soup is boiling. Kind of want to keep it stirred. Okay. So you want to bring it to a boil and then you want to reduce the heat for about 12 to 15 minutes, but I'm going to keep it simmering because the potatoes, I made them a little bit more chunkier, so I want to make sure they're cooked through. You just want to make sure everything gets cooked through. Oh no, I lost it. What's ouch, Phantom? When everything is done, you're going to have sour cream and cheddar cheese or any type of cheese that you want. I would not recommend mozzarella or Parmesan. You're going to need half a cup of sour cream, and then you're going to need, however much cheese you really want, but you're going to need at least a cup of cheese if you want it more creamier. Oh, sorry. That was I'm working off my MacBook, so my ding came through. I apologize for that. Oh, my bad. If you want it cheesier, you can add more cheese, but you at least need half a cup. So while this is still cooking, I'm going to go through the recipe ingredients so you guys can have it. You can use fresh bacon. You can fry that up and use the grease. You're going to at least need 3 tablespoons of the bacon grease. If you're just going to use bacon bits like I am at the end for the family members, then you need at least, you can substitute that out for 3 tablespoons of butter. You're going to need 1 cup of diced onion. You're going to need 1/4 cup flour. You're going to need 1/8 of a teaspoon of thyme or a pinch like I did. You're going to need 2 cups of chicken broth, 2 cups of milk, 1.5 pounds of potatoes peeled and cut, or if you would like more potatoes, that's completely up to you. And you're going to need they're going to need to cut 1/2, but like I said, if you want them a little thicker or thinner, that's completely up to you. But remember, as they cook, they do break down a little bit. You're going to need at least 1 cup of shredded cheese. You can do cheddar, you can do Colby Jack, you can do whichever you want. I just don't recommend mozzarella or Parmesan. If you want it extra cheesy, that's completely up to you as well. And you're going to need 1/2 cup of sour cream and then salt and pepper to taste. It's a pretty simple recipe. You can do it stovetop, so you do not have to have an Instapot to do this. Like I said, I'm just doing the Instapot because it's going to be easier to keep warm throughout the time. I'm going to grab that sour cream and more cheese. Yeah, we have a lot of light that comes through that window. That's not sour cream. So, no joke when I said people give me, or people are offering up free fruit and vegetables. There's someone right down the street who has a giant pear tree. And they have so many, they're like, if you want pears, come get them. So we went and got, I think it was 17 pounds or more of pears, fresh off a tree. Thank you, Bailey Stick. It smells really yummy too. I wish you guys could smell it. And so we picked all the pears. The kids ate some of them. You had me pears. We picked some of the pears. I peeled them. And I made some pear butter. And so this is what's left, what wasn't canned. And it smells really good. An orange tree. I'm working on growing a mandarin tree. It hasn't produced yet. I'm really excited because my strawberries in the garden finally started popping out strawberries, and I have a crap ton of jalapenos and habaneros now, so I have to figure out what to do with that. But the pear butter is really cool. It's really interesting. So when I have leftovers, instead of putting it in the jar and having like this much, I found these cool little things that we can test and taste, and the kids can try. It's really cool. I did make orange jelly, Phantom. I made orange jelly, and that came out really good. I was really proud of myself for that one. Fresh squeezed orange juice turned into, fresh squeezed orange juice turned into orange jelly. Bailistic, I'll show you what I just picked this morning. So this is only what I can hold in my hands of the jalapenos and habaneros from my garden this morning. And I couldn't even pick them all. And there's still some on my counter over there. They're not very big. The orange jelly is really good. It's actually surprisingly really good. You think oranges, all you can make is orange marmalade, which I do make. I have made. The orange jelly is really cool. Okay, so let's see. I might have made the potatoes. No, okay, so they're starting to break down. So before this kind of cooks too much, we're going to add the sour cream, and we're going to add the cheese, and then we're just going to kind of let it, we're going to reduce the heat. So we're going to keep it warm, which will keep it down. Yeah, it's really cool. My husband got me strawberries, and I planted them, and they didn't produce all summer, but now they're popping off strawberries the entire time. So I'm throwing in the sour cream, and then I'm going to toss in the cheese, and I'm going to stir it and show you guys everything, the finished product. I'm going to salt and pepper too. I do usually measure, but right now I'm like, eh. But for those of you who would like the measurements, again, it is half a cup of sour cream and a cup of shredded cheese. If you want it more cheesy or more creamy, you are more than welcome to add more to your soup. The sour cream is your base, and it's going to make it more creamy. Your cheese is going to make it more cheesy. I will probably go back and add more cheese a little later. And this smells amazing. I'm going to get the salt, pepper, and I'll be done. Salt and pepper is to your taste if you want it more flavorful. So play around with it. I always do a little bit, and then when everyone dishes up, they can add more to however they want it flavored. And now, like I said, I have just the bacon bits. So, you know, for the kids who don't want it in their soup, then they don't have to have it, and then they can add it in when they have theirs. So here is the final product. It's going to sit and stay warm. And then for those of you who will pre-cook their bacon in the beginning, like you can, that will also be your soup. Tabasco peppers, that's awesome. Tomatoes, so I had a whole bunch of cherry tomatoes. I made salsa with it. I'm hoping to grow tomatoes for the winter and canned tomato soup. So I'm really excited about that. Hey, Nick. I always just put stuff in. I don't. I tell everyone exactly what's in. How's it going, Nick? So the soup is pretty much done and ready. I always follow a recipe. Don't judge me. And what I love about this is it's going to sit and it's going to stay warm and it's not going to overcook it or anything like that. The crock pot is heating up and it's cooking the macaroni. So pretty much I'm done, other than the hot dogs or sausage links for later. And those are going to be super simple. We're done. I have tons of, shut up, Nick. I don't want to hear it. You can relax near the beach all you want. I'm in the kitchen cooking. You can't have any of my good food. Are you talking about that one? Which one? Back up behind my fridge? I mean, we do need batteries in our smoke detector, but the one up back behind our fridge, I think is our is a old security device from our previous owners. You can come get it. You come see the fridge spiders. And the dogs are going crazy. But you guys, we are done. You guys have a great day. We are done cooking. Oh, I didn't notice. I've probably become tone deaf to it. I've become very tone deaf to it. That's probably why. I think it's upstairs. But those are the recipes. If you guys need to catch back up on it, the episode will be, tone deaf, will be downloaded to my YouTube channel. I have tons of jams, jellies, and butters on stock. So if you would like any of those, there's caramels. The pear butter is available as well. Baylistic, I appreciate you stopping by. Nick, you have fun at that dang beach. Take pictures I want to see. And Phantom and everyone else, I appreciate you guys stopping by. We are going to start celebrating our son's birthday. We have a teenager in the house. Pray for us. Pray hard for us. Yes, pear butter, Baylistic. Made some awesome pear butter. This is just a sample of what we have left. Phantom, you have a wonderful day as well. Baylistic, you have an amazing day. We're going to chow down on this hopefully very soon. I will tell him you said happy birthday. Thank you. Beast, I will tell him again. If you guys want to catch up with me, I have social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and I am in a Discord with United Vindication and also Team Serious. You can catch me there anytime. You guys have a great weekend, a great week. You can see me again on Team Up Tuesdays. Hopefully nothing will keep me from that like this last week. Just had just a really week. But I should be there again this Tuesday and again Thursday for Thirsty Thursday. So you guys come prepared. Have a great week, guys. Bye.